All right, here are the headlines for the day. Donald Trump has left the White House for the last time. He didn't get the send-off he wanted, but he didn't go without making big news. In one of his last acts as president, Donald Trump granted a pardon to rapper Lil Wayne and a commutation to rapper Kodak Black. Another related pardon is co-founder of Death Row Records, Michael Harris. Harris is 59 and has been behind bars on a 32-year sentence for attempted murder and cocaine trafficking. Trump also commuted the sentence of former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, freeing him 20 years early for public corruption crimes he was convicted of in 2013. I definitely want to talk about Kwame Kilpatrick there, but first, can we go back to Lil Wayne? Because I wanted to know what you all thought. A lot of the chatter online last night when this happened was that basically this is why Lil Wayne endorsed Trump, like came out and publicly. So you absolutely right immediately.
Yes.
That's where you go to.
Yeah. You're thinking about that picture in October they took together. He probably pretty much was putting money in his pocket then. Allegedly, I'm saying that my opinion. But look, that's why he was being buddy with him during that moment, because he knew this could possibly happen, and it did.
And you think he was willing to harm all of us to get out of jail?
Absolutely. You know what? 50 Cent around that time, 50 Cent, sorry to cut you off, Ron, 50 Cent did an interview where he said that Trump was paying money to be endorsed, to be like, you know, just to take a photo and put things up. Now, although Lil Wayne's manager just did an interview recently, and he said that one had nothing to do with the other, right? You know,
it's just coincidental.
Exactly, right? But it's kind of like, we all know the truth. You know, it was a deal with the devil, like we've all said before, and Lil Wayne felt like he did what he had to do. He felt like, you know what, I'm putting this one photo up, people will forget about it, but at the end of the day, you know, I got what I need out of it. So
Bradford
he feels like
Cohen, right? Okay, you know he represents both, right? Does he not? So if you think about that, I mean, he represents both of them, and I think he's in pretty good friendship or pretty good situations with Trump. So it all just adds up.
You know what's interesting, like in hindsight, is the fact that...
I'm going to have to give up no ceilings. Like, I'm devastated about
Well, you know, it's two things. What's interesting is when we covered Lil Wayne pleading guilty, how easily he did it without any problems. Like, he pleaded guilty, and I was thinking, And now in hindsight, we understand why he pled guilty, because he knew he wasn't going to face any jail time because he was going to be pardoned. That was number one. And number two, it is just really interesting that these were the last thoughts that President Trump had on his way out the office. Let me commute the sentence for Kodak Black and pardon Lil Wayne. Like, really?
But it's also interesting that he repaid a debt on the way out when he didn't need it anymore, because he's not known for repaying debts.
That too. And also, he didn't pardon Tiger King. Like, no, I'm kidding. He can stay in jail as far as I'm
rapper
concerned.
Boosie, sorry to give entertainment, but rapper Boosie also said that he was upset at the pardons because there is another rapper that's been in jail called C Murder, and you know so Boosie came forward and he was just kind of like, I'm confused why we're reaching back to Kodak Black and Lil Wayne, and we have C Murder who's been in jail, you know, for a very long time and has needed to get out because he's, you know.
And you think about Trump didn't get the send off that he wanted. I wish he could have got the one that we wanted him to get.
Is Kodak Black gonna take full advantage of this pardon and turn his life around?
Can he do that after what he did?
I think he is. Like, he's been really trying to get out of jail. He's been writing messages. He's been pleading to, you know, anyone who would listen, anyone that can help to get released from jail. So I absolutely feel like this is going to be a good step in the right direction for him. And I feel like he's going to get out and, you know, he's been apologizing to people, Lauren London and everyone.
I was going to say, I'm done with him since that.
I know, but he apologized, and so I feel like it'll be a step in the right direction.
We shall see now, won't we?
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
All right. Well, today, President Joe Biden, I love the way that sounds, made an appeal for unity to Americans across the political spectrum in his inaugural address as the 46th President of the United States, seeking to turn the page on the divisions of the Trump era. President Biden described unity as the path forward to contain the coronavirus, restore the U.S. economy, address the effects of climate change, deliver racial justice, and mend deep divisions that were laid bare over the last 4 years. Total cakewalk, right? To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy, unity, Biden said. The difficulties President Biden will face upon taking office office were on full display at his swearing-in. Former President Trump, who has refused to concede defeat, did not attend the inauguration. The Capitol complex was surrounded by fencing after pro-Trump rioters sought to halt the certification of results affirming Biden as president 2 weeks ago. Now, if you all were watching earlier, we covered the inauguration. Myself, Demi, Brooke. We missed you, Romeo. We're so sorry that you couldn't be there.
He was there in the hallway. But I saw y'all. Y'all were streaming, and y'all were looking amazing.
Yes, thank you. And we also had Claudia Jordan from, just almost every show on Fox Soul.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Stacey Abrams of Fox Soul. So we had a really good time. We were talking about fashion. We were talking about just the implications of, Kamala Harris becoming the first VP woman of color, woman of Southeast Asian descent.
Yes.
We covered everything, but one of the greatest moments was watching President Biden lay his hand on that Bible.
Different to say. Like, I'm so used to saying Vice President-elect, President-elect, but I wanted to talk about, because Brooke actually brought this to our attention earlier, some of the executive orders that he,
I was going to list them.
Yeah, well, I was just going to you can list the rest. it's one that I'm really passionate about. So I said that, on day one that Joe Biden should be able to, he did all this work, like take a nap. And everyone else is kind of like, no, he needs to get right to work. And he did just that. He got right to it. But one that I really want to talk about, because, I have a lot of student loans, was that he issued an executive order to extend a pause on federal student loan payments through the end of September 2021. And Brooke, you can totally take over and read the rest. But
you got it.
No, that for me was just, that's a big deal, because, not having anywhere to live, not me personally, but like just people that I know.
It's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
Exactly. Yeah, even for me, the student loans, yes, helps. I have somewhere to live and things like that and a job, but there are people out here that don't have any of that. And then on top of that, having to pay back student loans that you went to school, 10, 20 years ago is just not the focus right now. So I'm really happy that on day one, he gave us that ease that we needed. The people that, like myself, have $50,000 after college of student loans, I am happy that he kicked that off right away.
17 executive orders signed on his first day. We've rejoined the Paris Accord.
Yep.
We are getting back in good standing with the World Health Organization.
100 days of
Here,
mask
I have
wearing.
a list of some of them. He's rescinding a Muslim-focused travel ban. Remember how big that was? So that's a big. Preventing workplace discrimination for gender identity and sexual orientation. Canceling the Keystone XL pipeline.
Yes.
That is huge.
Yes.
Federal lands mask mandate. That's a big deal.
Yes.
Also preserving DACA. That's probably one of the biggest, most important.
And on top of all that, I would love for President Joe Biden to go ahead and get some stimulus checks coming for the next 3 months so we can stimulate our economy, right? Got to get the vaccination situation in better order.
And we're going to talk about that later on the show,
Trump did
too.
nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we're looking forward to see what happens next. A lot of work on his hands.
Yes, and we are happy that Joe Biden got to work. I personally would have been okay with you just, taking the day off, kick your feet up, okay? But now moving right along.
Lost it.
Brooke would have been like,
I would have lost it.
I know. Now, speaking of the inauguration, Amanda Gorman, she made history today as the youngest poet in recent history to read a poem at a presidential inauguration. Now, Gorman, she's 22. She read her poem at the inauguration of presidents. Yes, I love the way that sounds. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, according to the Associated Press. The Los Angeles native told NPR that she finished writing the poem titled "The Hill We Climb" on the night of the January 6th riots, just hours right after the riots happened on Capitol Hill. And I just wanted to add on, she actually says that she was struggling to write the poem. She was like, you know what, this is a really hard, she didn't say hard, but she was like, this is a large task, So she was just kind of like struggling to write the poem. And then she says that the January 6th riots motivated her to finish the second half of that poem. So for any of our soulmates that was able to, watch on with us or, watch the poem in its entirety.
They have it on the Fox Soul Instagram page. You can watch it back. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, it is.
Studied at Harvard. Mother was a teacher. And she falls in line with like Maya Angelou. Let's talk about that, who was the first to do it in 1993 for Bill Clinton. So I applaud her. She was amazing up there.
Yeah. She was amazing. Really and she also said that she wrote a few lines a day. Like she was having that writer's block, but she said, I just wrote a few lines a day, not stress myself out.
You do.
And then she got the masterpiece. So I'm really...
and she delivered it so eloquently.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Amazing job.